Markle. What is going on? Anyone think it's still weird that she's called Meghan Markle? Anyway, so I was going to do this video, right, on Samantha Markle's lawsuit on Meghan Markle. Samantha Markle is Meghan Markle's half-sister. They share a father who's called Thomas Markle. But whilst I was sort of editing another video, I heard the news that Meghan Markle and Harry had been served with papers. So that's fine. I was going to be like, okay, I'm definitely going to do this video. And then I wake up this morning and boy, oh my gosh. So, yeah, I mean, I have now heard that a judge has decided that Harry and Meghan are going to face deposition and rejected Meghan's application to resist that. I was like, it's going down. So, yeah, I'm definitely going to watch this. So, let's break this down. So, we have Meghan on one hand, who doesn't like bad press, who allegedly lies about, that the press allegedly lie about her. She doesn't like betrayal of trust from family members, royal family members allegedly leaking stories about her, or betrayal by her father. And she certainly doesn't like family members speaking about her to the press. So this person, who doesn't like any of that, decides that she's going to talk about her family members and, of course, Harry's family members and their personal, private family matters. She's going to talk about that on Oprah Winfrey. One of the world's most famous talk show hosts who has a huge platform, and she decides to go on TV and do that. And she decides to talk about things in magazines. She decides to cooperate with a Finding Freedom book, although she denied that in the first instance. But she decides to disclose personal details there about her family members and about Harry's family members. And of course, they do the Netflix documentary. And then, of course, Harry does his book, right? So, I mean, irony, okay? Irony. That she has sold stories about her family and Harry's family, and she has got paid. So the irony that she's allowed Harry to do the same about his own family. So the irony. Anyways, let me bring it back. So she decided to say a few things on Oprah's interview about Samantha, her half-sister, who she claims that she knows nothing about. Well, after the interview, Samantha came out and basically was saying that she was telling lies. And it was things like Meghan Markle grew up as an only child. She wishes she had siblings. She hadn't seen Samantha Markle for 18 years. And then prior to that, for 10 years more, that Samantha had changed her name to Markle, back to Markle after she got married, only when Meghan had met Harry. I mean, the irony there, isn't it? Was she trying to insinuate that Samantha's using the Markle name to be associated with Meghan? I don't know, using a title and a name to be famous and get paid and elevate herself and be interested by the public and the news and earn money off of the name. I don't even, that it's just too ironic. Anyway, a lot of things that they say is too ironic. Like particularly Harry in the Netflix documentary says, you'll be surprised what people do for money. Well, okay. Or surprised what people will say for money or something like that. I mean, yeah, okay. Anyway, so Samantha came out after the Oprah interview basically debunking some of these alleged lies. She showed, for example, her graduation picture with Meghan Markle, and that debunked the timeline. And also her graduation certificate where she's named Markle, which also didn't match up to Meghan's timeline. So Meghan also came out with stuff for Finding Freedom, the book Finding Freedom. There were some emails that came about where she was giving away personal detail about her family, and in particular about Samantha. For example, that Samantha had 3 children with 3 different men and lost custody of her children. which is weird because allegedly she doesn't know anything about this sister and doesn't know this sister, never had a relationship with her, so it's really weird. But I mean, wow, talk about judgy, judging her where people could judge you and have judged you, right, for being a person on Deal or No Deal and being a divorcee and being almost 40 and being a D-list actress and inviting people that you didn't know to your wedding, these A-list celebrities, because you're a social climber. And so people have judged you, which you didn't like. So it's ironic that you're now judging someone who you allegedly didn't know. And if you say that you don't know her, then it's quite irresponsible to be judging her in that way and providing this information to be put in a book that is going to be sold to tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of people, disclosing information about her personal life, which Samantha says, incidentally, is not true. But it's a bit irresponsible. If you don't know her, isn't that irresponsible to disclose that type of information in that arena? I would say so. What's interesting is, well, where did Meghan get this information from about Samantha Markle? If you say you don't know her or don't know anything about her, weirdly, you're so close to her daughter to the point that she was going to be the only other person invited to your wedding other than your mother. So she was so close to her, but yet you know absolutely nothing about her mother and you have no relationship with her mother and never have is weird to me. But okay, anything's possible. So I'm surprised at the finding freedom and the information that Meghan had given to Jason Kanoff to give to Omid Scobie, allegedly, for the book. I'm surprised that doesn't feature part of the lawsuit, but to be honest, I don't really have that much information at this stage, but it seems to me what's being reported out there is that it's to do with the allegations or to do with the information that Meghan gave Oprah in the interview about Samantha. So it'll be interesting to see whether the finding freedom information becomes a part of that lawsuit. And apparently, and I don't know if this is true, but apparently Samantha Markle has alleged that she found out from a lawyer in the UK that there was some sort of campaign in the press to paint the Markle family as negative. And I'm assuming that she's alleging that campaign was waged by Meghan or from someone. It wasn't just the press all got together and decided this campaign, that it was pushed by someone. So Samantha Markle is now suing for defamation, and I believe it's in Florida. The lawsuit seems to be, as I've said, focused on what Meghan had said to Oprah in her interview. Samantha is saying, or alleging, I believe, that there has been a fallout after that interview. I suspect that she was given abuse online. I suspect that she has felt that her reputation has been ruined. So she's now filing this lawsuit because she says there were lies told about her. And to be fair, those lies were told on a massive platform. So I would be surprised if Samantha hasn't in some way suffered from that information being disclosed. And if that information, if they are lies, then that's even more concerning. And I can understand why Samantha Markle would feel defamed and that there needed to be some sort of reparation for what has happened to her. The law allows for that. So let's see what happens. Apparently she's claiming for $100,000 or £100,000 in damages. I'm not sure if it's dollars or pounds. But to me personally, that sounds quite reasonable. Like, it doesn't sound like she's being ridiculous and saying, I want 100 million or I want 1 million or 10 million. Like, that actually sounds like it's quite a reasonable lawsuit. So I think, she's really thought about this, in my view, and is being quite reasonable, it seems. It doesn't seem to be like such an outlandish lawsuit, like she's just out for money kind of thing. So today I heard that the judge ruled that Harry and Meghan have to be questioned in a deposition. So she refused Meghan's application to stop that. I suspect that Meghan didn't really take Samantha Markle seriously when she was considering suing Meghan. You know, she's royalty, she has all this money, she has these top lawyers, you know, she can afford the most vicious and aggressive lawyers. She has power, she has a platform, she has a status. So I don't think she took her seriously, because what does Samantha have? You know, does she have enough money to take this to the end? Does she have enough money to instruct powerful lawyers or really skilled lawyers who are going to be aggressive? I don't know. Meghan did the same thing in London, where there was the lawsuit that she started against the newspapers. She made an application for a summary judgment. So to avoid the case going to trial, she wanted the judge to sort of deal with it summarily. And she won that, but it meant that she avoided going to trial and avoided cross-examination. So again, in this instance, she was trying to get the judge to refuse the deposition. So again, she was trying to avoid some sort of examination of her, which is interesting. You know, she doesn't look like someone who has nothing to hide and wants to speak her truth and face whatever's coming her way. She seems to be someone who wants to avoid examination, it seems to me. And it seems that within the UK case, obviously the newspaper appealed, and I think it was in the process of the appeal that is when Jason Kanoff's statement came about, which revealed that Meghan wasn't being truthful about that she had not cooperated with the Finding Freedom book, and that she had not had any assistance in writing the letter to her father. And when Jason Kanoff came about and provided receipts, which was his emails from Meghan, which clearly showed that she had provided information to the Finding Freedom book, that she had got assistance in writing a letter to her dad, that showed that she wasn't telling the truth. And then she, I believe, said to the court, well, I forgot about that. That's really unfortunate. But that revealed to people that, okay, perhaps they're not telling the truth on certain matters. And without that lawsuit and the appealing and pushing forward, that information wouldn't have been released. Bearing in mind, she still wasn't under cross-examination in that trial. And so, in my view, in this case with Samantha Markle, if she had resisted being deposed, again, it covers an opportunity for her to be examined and questioned, and the possibility of us to start seeing the other side. Because, of course, Meghan and Harry have made so many allegations about the royal family, and we will never hear the royal family side. So it's through these other avenues, it's through other people that do have the ability to speak up, it's through the other people that do have the resources and the bravery to push forward. It's through them that we have other sides of the story coming through, like, for example, the Meghan bullying claims and the claims that she had bullied members of staff. It was them who came forward to Valentine Lowe of the Times newspaper with their allegations, and we would have never known anything about that. And then when you fit the allegation timeline, the bullying allegation timeline, into the timeline of when Meghan Markle was in the family, it does sort of show that there was negative press and negative stories about her around the same time when there were these allegations being made of bullying, which was in 2018. So we start to see a different picture than what Harry and Meghan want to present, right? So I personally wonder whether Samantha Markle has a lawyer that is good enough to cross-examine or question Meghan Markle and Harry, because I don't know how much money she has, and frankly, the top lawyers out there, they probably should be thinking whether or not they want to take this case on pro bono. The top forensic, aggressive cross-examiners out there, because this is going to be quite a big case. I don't know if anyone's going to apply for it to be private, the deposition to be private. I don't know if that's possible, but I suspect that's going to be something that has been thought about. Samantha Markle, needs top lawyers, because Meghan will have top lawyers, and in my my opinion, there needs to be a balance here of the power in terms of the legal teams. You know, what I don't want to see is Samantha Markle rocking up with one lawyer and Meghan Markle rocks up with 10, you know, and 5 of them are partners of a massive legal firm. Yeah, I just don't think that's fair. I don't think that's fair, and I don't think that's right. So that's what I hope, is that at least Samantha Markle has the right support and the right help behind her, because this is a search for truth as well as anything else, right? She wants to hold Meghan Markle accountable. Meghan Markle has said a lot of things, and Samantha Markle is alleging that they are not true. And if that is the truth, then she should be held accountable. But the search for what is the truth is going to be done through this process. For those of you who don't know what a deposition is actually an opportunity for the parties in a civil case. It's not a criminal case, it's a civil case, to basically get evidence and testimony, as it's referred to, from other witnesses in the case, but under oath. And they do that prior to a trial, so that it's a part of like the information gathering, the evidence gathering, like the discovery process, as some people refer to it. So that they sort of know what the witness is going to say at trial. Then they can better prepare for the trial, and they can better prepare their claims and their defences. So it doesn't necessarily mean that this case is going to go to a trial, but it's just the gathering process. So it does mean that they get to question Meghan and question Harry. I'd lastly just like to say, well, unfortunately, this is what happens. This is what happens, H&M. This is what happens. This is why the royal family stay silent. This is why they don't do these types of interviews and chase media and money in this way. This is why. You wanted this celebrity lifestyle. You wanted to show the world that you could do it by your own because you're both so amazing. And the world is just going to fall in love with you guys, and you want to save the world. You want this Kardashian type lifestyle. You wanted all the benefits, all the status and power. And you wanted to talk about everyone and everything. You wanted to talk about your truth, truth to power, truth to power. Well, who's got the power here, right? You've got the power in this situation. So technically, Samantha is speaking truth to power. She is the one that wants to speak her truth. And so what I would say is the lesson here for everyone is you treat people the way in which you want to be treated. And I'm really sorry, I really didn't want to keep on talking about these two, but unfortunately they're just a gift that keeps on giving. So I'm definitely going to follow this. So stay tuned. And don't forget to subscribe to my channel and press the bell button. Thanks, guys, and don't forget that this is all just my opinion.